What is your American dream?
So my American dream, 1, is to move somewhere where there's no winter, and 2, to do all the things I'm passionate about full time.
Just basically to live out my life the way that I choose, coming here to convention centers like this and finding someone to actually share the enjoyment that I do.
The American dream would be living your life without having to second guess your opinions. Don't sell yourself short of the experience.
My American dream is my own personal freedom and creativity to do what I want, but also others around me. As long as it's safe and fun and everybody's on the same playing field, I don't feel like there should be any limitations. I think you should be able to enjoy your one life that you're given and be grateful and to give back to others as well.
My American dream is just to be happy and to not let anyone get in my way of doing that.
Everyone has a right to the American dream.
Groundhog Sam!
Oh, Pimpa. No wonder you're an Instagram star. Oh, you're so beautiful. You're the most majestic creature I've ever seen. Oh my goodness, look at your outfit. You have the best style. Everything you wear is perfect on you. Look how you nibble away at that little piece of carrot. I just did that the other day, Pimpa. I've met my soulmate. Wow. When they made you, they threw away the mold. Goodness, I'm in love. It's just that you live in Thailand and you're a prairie dog. You're not a groundhog. But I think that Groundhog Nana will still approve of you and me together because you are perfect.
Oh, Pimpa, risque. I like it.
Do you Skype? Maybe we could Skype until I make it over to Thailand.
It looks like you like sticks like me.
See? I like sticks till I brush my teeth. And I chew on them when I'm nervous. And I'm nervous now because I'm talking to such a stunning prairie dog. Oh, hello everybody! Groundhog Sam here. Well, I have exciting news. I've met my love match. It's Pimpa the prairie dog. Only one problem. She lives in Thailand and she doesn't know I exist. But these are issues I will be able to work around. I just need to figure it out. I can always burrow to Thailand, I believe. I mean, the underwater part might be an issue, but I'll figure it out. And once she meets me, then she'll know who I am. And then we can be happy together. Maybe she'll come back to New York with me and live with me in Spar and Bernstein. I bet Brad would love that. He'd have a groundhog and a prairie dog. Oh, anyway, I gotta figure this out. And I can always call Groundhog Nana. She's always good with advice, too. Anyway, enough about me and my lovelorn life. Did you miss yesterday's episode of Bradshaw Live? Well, in case you did, Brad answered a ton of people's immigration questions. It was just incredible. And Miami field correspondent Anna Escona came on because she was outraged about the fact that it was just reported that when the zero tolerance policy of separating immigrant children and their parents came to be by Trump and Jeff Sessions, they didn't even tell the government about it, so all the government agencies had no idea, which led to even more of a mess than it already was with separating children in the first place. What is wrong with them? Anyway, it was a great show, and there's a great show on today. So now's the time you've all been waiting for. Introducing Bradshaw Live, starring Brad Bernstein and co-host Belgium Kim and Jonathan Yo-Yo Elias. Woohoo! Now back to Pimpa. Maybe Kim and Jonathan will have advice for me too. Maybe the Brad Squad.
Welcome, everybody. It's Bradshaw Live, November 14th. It's Wednesday. It's Hump Day. And tomorrow, by the way, is November 15th, which is my parents' anniversary. Oh. I guess that's their Hump Day, I guess.
Whoa.
Right? Whoa. I mean, they're octogenarians, but I guess, We know I have 2 sisters and me, so something happened, right? At
Something
some point.
does-
Well, welcome.
On the anniversary, though? Like,
Well,
That's
maybe.
the one time of the year
It's
that
one
you
time
do.
of the year, right?
Birthdays and anniversary
That's
at that
right.
age, right?
I guess. Well,
Feeling
welcome
strong
Belgium
back.
Kim, Jonathan Yo-Yo Elias.
Hello.
And we have to say hello to the entire Brad squad. Burke Madera, Maud Dukes, Malia Loban Martin, Deanna Love, Marjorie Thompson, Groundhog Sam. I don't know who is this animal in Thailand that Groundhog Sam
I
is
don't
in
know,
love
but
with?
all I know is that he
Pimpa.
asked
Pimpa
for
the
some
prairie dog.
advice, and advice is long distance never works out, Groundhog Sam.
That's right.
That's true. So
Never.
we got to get
Never.
Pimpa to move from Thailand.
Right, and then you got to
So
get
he
all
has
the
to hire
and
you
then you
as
got
a
and then you
lawyer.
got to get all the families to agree that a groundhog and a prairie dog should be together.
Right.
That's true.
That's very hard.
But he said that he thinks Groundhog Nana would approve.
Okay, but what about prairie dog Nana?
Dog Nana.
I mean, we
Forgot
don't know
about
what
that.
prairie is.
Typically, those are more protective.
Those are much more protective, right? They're like, no, you're going to marry a prairie dog, right? You're not marrying no groundhog. You're marrying a prairie dog.
So how can he get her papers?
You can't because they're animals, all right? We only do humans here on Brad Show.
Oh,
Okay.
that's so limited.
And quite frankly, it would be called a customs attorney, right? And they are considered chattel in the old days. Chattel.
Chattel.
Property.
Property.
It's your property. Your personal property is chattel. All right? Sorry, prairie dog.
There's lawyer words.
Yeah.
Sorry, Groundhog Sam.
Yeah, Jeff Bosey, what's happening? He's coming in early today, Jeff
Bozy
Bosey.
Bazzy.
Bosey
That's right.
Bosey.
And
Marjorie what? I'm sorry?
He switched over from YouTube.
Yeah.
He was YouTubing for a
He
little
was
while.
YouTubing for a little while. Maybe
right.
now he's back on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's an equal opportunity commenter, that Jeff.
Maybe. Lisa Bling Rose. And who else we have to say hello to here? I said Malia Loban Martin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Abigail Taylor Watson, how are you? Marge Higgs.
Jeff asked, so do we now know the gender of Groundhog Sam from that skit? Nope.
No.
No, because he
loves everybody.
He loves everybody. If I saw Bohemian Rhapsody,
Yeah.
okay, and Freddie Mercury loved everybody.
Androgyny at its finest.
Right, loved everybody,
There you
right?
go.
It was a really good movie, by the way.
Is it?
Yes,
I have
excellent.
heard not good things.
Oh, I thought it was excellent.
Oh.
Elsa Leslie, but you gotta like Queen's music.
Oh, I mean, how can you not like Queen's music?
I don't know. Maybe Jonathan doesn't like Queen's music. Doesn't like Queen's music. Yeah.
I'm indifferent.
Indifferent. Charmaine Gooden. But I went with somebody who didn't love Queen's music, but then they're like, it's pretty good.
Oh my god.
Then I probably would like it.
Yeah.
I literally just rewatched part of the Live Aid concert from
Yeah.
the late 80s.
Really?
Yeah,
Just for that?
recently.
Just for that?
Just cause. Yeah. Oh,
Lisa
so
Bling
good.
Rose.
Was it you guys that was talking about a documentary or something about Queen? Who was I talking?
There's a film
There's
out.
a film about
like
it.
a biopic.
Oh, okay.
Right, there's a film about it right
Yeah.
now. And Lady K. Charles, how are you? And Johnny FC, Carol Anderson, Cordella Douglas, BK Ricky,
BK Ricky.
known as Burger King Ricky,
Or Brooklyn.
or Belgium King.
Belgium Kim.
It could be any one of the three.
Oh, Belgium Kim Ricky.
Belgium
That'd
Kim
be
Ricky.
really flattering.
That he named his YouTube
yeah. Handle.
after you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nezzy Show TV, Brooklyn King Ricky, or Belgium Kim Ricky.
Ah, yes.
You better let them
Mr.
know what that
Bernstein
BK
is a-
stand for, y'all.
No, don't burst my bubble.
Right. All right. And some guy by the name of Jonathan says, hey, fam.
Yeah.
All right. So we got to get to the news. We got a lot to do today.
Yes, we sure do.
Okay. This is called the No Bullshit Zone.
Yes.
We will not bullshit at all, but we are
How
going to be schmoozing.
That's right.
And our first schmooze of the day.
Schmoozing.
You know a woman by the name of Melania Trump?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. She got the Deputy National Security Advisor, Mira Ricardel, fired. The number 2 national security advisor in the United States behind Michael Bolton. Not Mike, is it Mike?
John
Bolton. Michael Bolton's a singer.
He's the
Michael Bolton is the singer.
working at the
Yeah,
what?
that
He
guy.
loved you, but
By the
you
way, this guy
lied.
does not look
At all
like
like
Michael
Michael
Bolton.
Bolton.
As a matter of fact, this guy's mustache is so thick that Michael Bolton could be hiding in that mustache. All right, that's about. Look how thick his mustache is. How is that even possible to do? Can we go back to this guy's mustache?
tremendous
He's
amount
got
of
good
grooming.
hair.
Yeah.
How
He's got
is
good
that
thick hair.
possible? I believe. Okay, we were talking about hair transplant. This guy got a mustache transplant. There is no way in the world.
Do you know they do have mustache and beard?
They have. This
weaves.
guy had to have. There is no man that can grow a mustache.
Yes,
like that.
yeah.
No way.
I can't
No way.
stop.
Look at this guy. Can we zoom in on his mustache? Let's see if there's any.
Can we do that?
We can't. I know. See if we can zoom in. There we go. Zoom in on this guy's mustache. There is no way in the world. There is no way in the world that this guy's mustache is natural.
Colonel Sanders had a mustache like that.
No, yeah, he was. No way. So anyway, that has nothing to do with what I was talking
Can't
about.
stop picturing Michael Bolton coming out.
Michael Bolton coming out of his mustache.
Singing.
Start singing. I'm going back to my home now. Boom. Right back into John Bolton's mustache. So,
no bullshit zone.
Apparently, this is the no bullshit zone. Apparently, Melania Trump wields some power in the White House. We didn't know that. We thought she was really. I always thought. There she is in Africa right now.
Right.
Okay, in the Dora the Explorer hat.
Wielding her power.
Wielding her power. But I always believed that she was basically like bought off to be like, basically, I always thought she was like, I hate Donald Trump.
Yeah.
He's a disgusting human being. He cheated on me when I was pregnant with his son.
Right.
He's a horrible person, but he's got lots of money. So if you want to keep paying me, Donald, I'll shut up and do my thing.
Right.
So that's what I thought was the deal. Wouldn't you agree that was kind of the deal?
I still think it is.
And it's like a marriage of convenience.
Yeah, I'm still waiting on someone to be like, blink 3 times if you need help.
Yeah, but apparently they have a relationship.
Okay.
Because if they didn't have a relationship, she could not go to her husband and say, fire this, you know what.
Right.
You know, this little...
So why did she fire her?
Scallywag.
Why did she fire her?
Why? Melania, she had a beef. She had a beef.
Mm-hmm.
She was beefing with Mira Ricardel, and stems from her trip to Africa last month when her staff had a fight with this woman on the trip. So the First Lady came back after this verbal argument somewhere out on the safari.
Right.
And they had a verbal argument, came back and said to her husband, fire her.
I still think she's in it for
she thinks like it's like the housekeeper, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You know what? You know, honey, I had a fight with the housekeeper today.
Right.
You know, fire her.
Totally.
Because that's what crazy women with lots of money who have nothing to do all day think about.
Yes.
Right?
Right. What happened to Be Best?
I don't know.
Well, this is
she
not
has
being very best.
She has a Be Best. Right? What's her thing? Like
it's like against bullying. It's Be Best is her whole thing, but like.
So now. Be Best. There she is. So now.
Yeah.
John Kelly.
Yeah.
I was going to say R. Kelly, but okay, who is the
definitely doesn't look like R. Kelly.
That does not look like R. Kelly. All right, his name is John Kelly.
In that picture, he doesn't have.
So let me just make sure I got this straight. John Bolton is not Michael Bolton.
Yeah.
Okay, John Kelly is not R. Kelly. Got it. All right. So this is John Kelly, not R. Kelly. This is the guy who is the chief of staff for Donald Trump.
Right.
Now, this woman, Mira Ricardel, is his hand-picked woman to be the national security advisor. So now Trump has to pick between his wife and R. Kelly's stand-in, John Kelly. And apparently he's picking the wife.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is they must have some sort of relationship.
No.
Because now
Agreement.
John Kelly's going to quit.
Yeah, right.
And Mira Ricardel's going to quit because Melania's staff had a fight with this woman in Africa. So the whole government's quitting over this.
No. I think,
and look, by the way, now, Melania's kind of getting Donald Trump's orange face and smirk.
Right. And hair.
And
almost.
look at that,
Like
right?
Yeah,
she's turning into
It's like
Mrs. Orange. Orange woman, the orange man, right?
What
do we call Donald Trump? The orange guy, right?
The orange guy, yeah.
Right, she's like orange lady.
She's Mrs. Orange
She's
Guy.
Mrs. Orange Guy. She started to look like it, right?
Mr. and Mrs. Orange Guy.
She almost looks like the high C person, who runs through the wall. In that
No,
picture?
Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid, is that it? She looks like the Kool-Aid thing, right? You know, the
Damn, she
regular.
does look orange there.
She's
She
looking a little
does.
orange.
If
And she
anything-
has the same demeanor now, right?
Yeah, they got that
They
same
have
mouth.
that same smirky
Pinch.
mouth.
It's like it's called a resting bitch face.
Yeah. Ooh.
It's a resting
You
bitch
think
face.
so?
Yeah, it's
does.
just
But
a
doesn't
resting-
she look in that picture like the high C person who runs through the wall?
The Kool-Aid
The
man.
Kool-Aid. The Kool-Aid man who
Totally.
runs through the wall, right?
Yeah, in that picture, she's more
Yeah.
orange than he is.
She used to be so pretty.
She was.
She was gorgeous.
Well, I mean, when you're around negative energy for so long, it
She
just
used to be
starts
so
to
gorgeous,
take over.
right?
It starts to
I
take
mean, I'm
over.
just looking at her picture now. She used to be so pretty.
That's truly.
When you're not
heartbreaking.
pretty on the inside, it starts to show on the outside.
Yeah.
It
All
seeps.
right. So, any event, so that's what's going on in Washington. Now, we talked yesterday, CNN is suing the White House because
Yeah.
Jim Acosta had his press credentials taken away.
Yes.
And Donald Trump says he can do whatever the hell he wants because he's the king.
Yes.
Well, now even Fox News, which is Donald Trump's network of choice, has put in an amicus brief on behalf of Jim Acosta, says that what Trump did is wrong. Even Fox News
Wow.
says it's wrong.
Whoa.
Basically, here's the press release from Fox News. It says this severe and unprecedented punishment is the culmination of years of hostility by President Trump against CNN and Acosta based on the contents of their reporting, an unabashed attempt to censor the press and exclude reporters from the White House who challenge and dispute the president's point of view.
Wow.
Now, Trump, in return, says CNN should be ashamed of itself. Having you work for them, you are a rude, terrible person.
Right.
And it's very well.
Yeah.
Nobody says maybe Jim Acosta is a rude, terrible person. He may very well be. Let's take Trump at his word.
Right. Okay.
Jim Acosta, I don't know this for a fact, by the way.
Right, yeah.
And I probably don't believe it.
Yeah.
Okay, but he reports hard. He doesn't take any BS.
Absolutely.
Okay? And maybe to some people he comes off as being rude and terrible.
Okay.
There is still something called the First Amendment in the United States.
Exactly.
And the First Amendment says you can be rude.
Yep.
You can be terrible.
Yep.
You can say some of the most hateful things in the world. As a matter of fact, hate crimes are up.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yes.
So, because people are allowed to say hateful things in America.
Yeah.
It's called freedom of speech. They say terrible things about Jewish people. I shrug my shoulders. What am I going to do about it?
Right.
Well, I can protest, obviously.
You can, absolutely.
Right. But I'm not going, and they say terrible things about black people.
All the time.
They say terrible things about women.
They do.
They say terrible things about millennials.
Yeah. That's true.
They say terrible things about 50-year-old bald men. They say terrible things about a lot of people.
Yeah.
And guess what? We are in a free society.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot of terrible, rude people in this world.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
People who do things that are hurtful. Jim Acosta didn't even do anything hurtful. He
Right.
was just asking a question.
He was doing his job.
He was doing his job. So it's really not a defense.
No.
Because you're a rude, terrible person to take away somebody's press credentials. And even Fox News has joined in.
That's astonishing.
Meanwhile, hate crimes are up 17%. That's not astonishing since Charlottesville.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. And so 2 weeks after the deadly Pittsburgh synagogue shooting, but this all started from Charlottesville.
No. Absolutely.
It actually started before that with Trump's rhetoric. When he
Absolutely.
opened up the presidential campaign, the first words out of his mouth were all Mexicans are rapists.
Yep.
That was the first words out of his mouth right after he declared that he's going to run for president. And it's just gotten worse and worse. And 2 weeks after the deadly Pittsburgh synagogue shooting, the FBI released its 2017 hate crime statistics, and it revealed a 17% increase in hate crimes. Matthew Whitaker, who is now the acting attorney general,
Right.
who many say is the acting attorney general illegally, because you have to be confirmed by the Senate, even as in a temporary basis.
Oh, wow.
So there's lots of people who would argue that he is not a legal acting U.S. attorney.
Right.
Now, Trump put him in there because he wants to kind of shut down the Mueller investigation. We'll see how that all goes. And he himself, Mr. Whitaker, was on the board of directors of a company that got sued for fraud. But we'll go through that in another. So this is the guy who is now our acting attorney general. And he says this report is a call to action. Thank you, Mr. Whitaker. Thank you.
Thanks, right.
Thank you.
Captain Obvious reporting for duty.
Yes, he says, I am particularly troubled by the increase in anti-Semitic hate crimes, which were already the most common religious hate crime in the United States, and it is well documented in this report. So as I do the show from now on, I will be doing it like this, just in case, anybody,
You know we'll protect you,
You'll
Brad.
protect me?
You know we'll protect
Jonathan
you.
would jump in front.
Definitely.
You would jump in front.
Definitely.
You would jump in front of the desk and be hiding, right? Not jump in front of me, right?
I did not specify what I was going to
jump in front of, right? All right, so that's what's going on in the news. Hate crime is up.
Yep.
Melania Trump's stock in the White House is up.
Yay.
R. Kelly and Michael Bolton are selling out now. Every venue. John Bolton has not shaved his mustache in 21 years.
No.
It's pretty impressive.
And John Kelly and Mira Ricardo will be quitting the White House because of some beef with Melania's people in Africa.
Whew.
There is the news for the day.
It's real news.
That is
There
real
it is.
news.
Except
we got the real news right here.
Yeah.
All right.
This is where we need the music.
So now, Jonathan, we're going to send you off. We're sending you off on a Brad Show exclusive. We have stopped sending Jonathan on the 7 train to go taste
right?
food.
Right.
We have not sent you in a while because we have been saving up because we've had to budget for this.
Okay.
We are sending Jonathan to Sex Island. He is going. You are off to Sex Island, Jonathan, to report for Brad Show Live.
Reporting for duty.
Reporting for duty, right?
10 hot.
Sex Island. This is true. It's an all-inclusive 4-day sexual extravaganza, Jonathan. That allows
Why is the island shaped like that?
The island is shaped as a penis. That looks like it's ejaculating, actually.
It is.
Right. That allows
Dark
every
balls.
man to drop $6,000, Jonathan. That's why we've been saving up.
$6,000?
Yes.
To go to Sex Island?
Yes. We're sending you to Sex Island to report on behalf of Brad Show Live. You're going to be Skyping every day. Okay. And it's unlimited booze, food, and 2 prostitutes for every man.
Wow.
So they are going to a place where prostitution is legal.
Okay.
And they have got 2 prostitutes for every man, free food, free booze, and a sunny island. And they're calling this Sex Island.
Wow.
Now, how often? Now, let me ask you a question, Jonathan. Okay, it's only 4 days. You got 2 women, right? So if you make it with each woman, okay, that's 8 times in 4. That's 8 times in 4 days if you do it with each woman once a day, right? Are you going to be able after? Are you going to be able to go more than that? Can you do? Can you do 16? Are you going to be able to do 16 times?
Yes.
Like, what's your number? What's your number?
Let me tell you.
I'm just trying to think.
I'm
just trying to think what your number would be.
Let me tell you.
Because
with the help of Brad Squad,
Oh no.
send me some strong back. Y'all send me some strong back. I can go however many times I want to go.
4 straight days.
Now it's between December 4th. Oh, I'm sorry, Jonathan. You're not going to be able to do it.
Why?
Because you already pre-engaged on doing
The
your
15th and 16th.
Yeah, it's between the 14th and 17th.
Hey, screw Christmas.
No.
You're not going to be able to do your show.
So I guess that means that Belgium Kim has to
A
step in.
volunteerist tribute.
Belgian Kim, it's the men pay and the women are prostitutes.
Why? That's sexist.
Are they doing?
Why can't I go?
Maybe they're doing bisexual Sex Island somewhere.
What? Where?
I don't know. They're not doing it yet.
Okay, so this bothers me legitimately, Brad. How are you not going to let women?
So let me tell you where the women are from.
That is true.
Okay.
Okay, so the prostitutes come from Colombia,
Ooh.
Brazil,
Ooh.
the United States of America, and Canada.
Okay.
Some women have volunteered to attend for free.
Right.
What?
Yes.
Okay.
There's been
who,
some
the prostitutes?
they said I'll work for
Women.
free.
Right.
There's some women who said I'll go for free.
It's a 4-day orgy. Some women would be into that.
But the organizer says, no, wait, there is no free sex here. Sorry, the women will be paid.
That's effed up.
I want to know how much they're getting paid.
So if you're a woman,
well, how much could they be getting paid if it's only $6,000 per person, and the organizers have to make the money,
right?
And they got to give you food and drink, and a hotel and a bed.
I mean, they're obviously not getting paid as much as they should be.
They can't be getting paid much,
right?
What could they be getting paid?
Probably
for,
like 1,000.
That seems like it's not a lot for the work that they're going to be putting out.
Well,
I'm not an expert in the economics.
They look like they're having fun.
Yeah, I'm not an expert in the economics of all of this.
But listen, you're getting paid however much for 4 days of just having fun. But I don't see nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, but if you chose to,
if they would go for free, and they're like, nah, I'm still going to give you a G-ball. Just to
it's different.
Play with their balls.
Now, who do you think this would be? They said that as part of the deal, a mystery Canadian rap superstar will attend,
obviously,
and perform a mini concert.
Wow.
Drake is going to show up at Sex Island? Come on.
Well, Drake would totally show up.
Why would Drake show up at Sex Island?
Why not?
Why? Because it's Sex Island, right? But Drake doesn't need Sex Island.
That's true. Isn't his whole life Sex Island?
That's what I would have thought.
Isn't that the whole point of being a celebrity?
That's right.
We're just waiting on our lives to turn into
we haven't gotten there yet. You know?
Not quite.
Well, we're not celebrities yet.
Soon though.
Yeah, I mean, because they got the A list, the B list, the C list, and the D list.
We're like the Z list.
Well, you could be D list.
Z.
No, you're D.
I could be D.
You're D. You're definitely D list.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm on no list. I have 0 list.
Yeah, I would say you and I are solidly
Belgium Kim and I are like, what list are we on? We're still waiting to be on a list.
We're the solid D
list.
Yeah,
we haven't had what Jonathan had.
I'm a proud D-lister.
Yeah, because Jonathan was on the reality show. He was on the Grand Hustle. Right, so you get for that, you get D-list.
Woo!
But
D-list
Jonathan, you got to keep it up. You can't have 15 minutes of fame.
No,
that's
absolutely.
It. All right, because
that's why I'm Don Cornelius.
In another year, if that's all you did, then they're going to be
Grand what? Pretty bad.
You get
Grand what?
Yeah.
Grand. Well, and then you'll be like, no, I'm the co-host of Bradshaw Live.
Yeah.
The host of Bradshaw Live is no list.
Wow.
No list.
Damn.
That's not true. I'm
just
very
lit
proud
a fire
of our
under my ass.
Bozy, I think it's in your garage. Jeff Bozy wants to know where it's located.
Not in his garage.
It's in his garage. Just don't tell your wife. Okay? Sex
That
Island.
was a trick question,
By the
wasn't
way,
it, Jeff?
Sex Island's in Jeff Bozy's garage, and we don't know how much sex there'll be, but there will be a comedy show every hour.
It's just like that Fire Island situation where everybody gets told it's a luxury situation, but it's Jeff Bozy's garage.
Exactly.
We said there would be yachts. There is an inflatable boat outside.
That'd be hilarious. and then you call up Jeff's driveway. He's like, "Hey guys, welcome to Sex Island."
My wife's got snacks inside.
Yes.
Lord have mercy.
All right. All right. Do we have no calls? Oh, we do have calls. All right. So let's get to calls because we have a lot to do today. All right. So before we get to our calls, I have to clear my throat. And I'm going to ask you to ask people to share out of the kindness of their heart.
Absolutely. Family, out of the kindness of your heart, because it's the holiday season and it's the time of giving, we would like us to give you your shares. Give us shares. Give us shares. Hit that share button on the bottom or top on Facebook and share it onto your own timeline, onto your friend's timeline, and into groups that you're a member of to make sure to spread the word. And you also got to do it on YouTube.
Yeah, man. Show YouTube some love. All you have to do is copy the link, send it in a WhatsApp group, send it in text messages, and then you could also send it in on Facebook as well because we want to build up our YouTube family.
That's right.
Woo!
By the way, maybe we would be on a D list, Kim, because Trudy Ann Garrett says you guys are really funny.
Oh, well, maybe. Trudy Ann Garrett.
We're on her D list.
We're on her D list. I'll take it.
We're on her D list.
Literally,
that sounds like you're on her A list.
Yeah.
That's true. We're A-listers to the Brad Squad.
It is my birthday, Lisa. Thank you. Lisa says it's my birthday today. I'm very happy.
It's your.
I'm always happy. Why am I
You're
not,
right.
What am I not happy?
I was like, wait, is it?
What am I not happy? That really made me deflated my whole day now. Because now I'm thinking, what day was I not happy?
Only
Do I come
Brad.
on this show sad ever?
No.
But there are some days where we're like more perky than others. Maybe you're particularly perky today. A hump day perks us up.
It does.
No,
I could
pun
do more hump
intended.
day, but I think I got to answer immigration questions.
Aw.
Brad definitely gets perked up on hump day.
Right.
I get perked up.
You get perked up.
I do.
You perk right up.
Well, I'll tell you what I do.
4 hours of
Well, you know.
Hey, with you sitting next to him
All right,
and you saying that?
all right. Let's not get carried away. I mean, you're making it out like I'm taking a Viagra before I show up on the set here. Okay.
Chugging some strong back.
Yeah. Maybe I'll have some strong back before I go on. But you're insinuating that like I'm taking that. I'm taking a Viagra before I show up on the
Brad
set
don't
here.
need no Viagra.
I don't need no Viagra.
Hell yeah.
No, not yet. Knock
That's
on
that
wood.
strong Jewish
Knock on
blood.
wood. Well,
Right.
that's the wood you're knocking on, Brad.
Yeah, this is not wood. Oh, that's not the wood I should be knocking on. All right.
Perked up.
All right. That means we need to do more. All right. One last thing, talking about knocking on wood.
Okay.
And then we're gonna get to our. It's Hump Day, Lisa. Lisa goes, why all this sex talk? It's Hump Day.
Hump day.
Hump Day, hump.
People are wishing you a happy birthday.
Happy
in the
birthday, Brad.
comments.
It's not my birthday, but
My birthday
okay.
is every Wednesday.
My birthday is every Wednesday.
Yes.
Right. I walk around in my birthday suit every Wednesday. Yeah.
No wonder the table's just a little bit higher on Wednesday.
So talking about knocking on wood.
Yeah.
Okay. Designer Yves Saint Laurent, very famous
Yes.
designer. You know, you've seen
YSL.
Trust me, all Lisa Bling-Rose, they all know YSL.
They're familiar with
You're
YSL.
very familiar. I don't need
For
to.
sure.
We don't need to go any further,
Yeah.
right? So they just released a new line of jewelry, and it includes a pair of penis. I don't even know where you would wear this. A pair of penis earrings and a penis pendant necklace. Okay. It is of a penis. The way I read this was that you're wearing the jewelry on your penis, and I'm like, how is that going to stay on?
That's how I understood it.
But that's what I read. That's what I'm like, how is this even going to work? You know,
Jewelry, how do you
where's
fix it?
where is this penis jewelry going? But it is actual jewelry of a necklace with a penis.
Yeah.
Who's gonna buy this?
I'm going to tell you something. There's lots of people who would love to have a penis close to their neck at all times. Okay? I am sure there is. I'm sure that there's lots of people who would love to have two penises hanging right next to their mouth at all times. Don't you think, Jonathan?
Especially exclusive penises like that.
Exclusive? This is not. This is no ordinary penis.
Right.
This is Yves Saint Laurent's penis.
Yeah. YSL ain't cheap. How much are these penis?
All right, so
YSL is
they
not
come
cheap.
they come in brass. Okay, so when you say you got balls of brass, your brass balls. This is serious stuff here.
Right.
Okay, so the earrings are $280, and they come in brass. The penis pendant, it's the golden penis, and it is a staggering $680.
Oh my God.
Freaking ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Pun intended.
Now the earring is called, I'm reading here in the notes, the penis dangle.
No, it's
Yes.
not.
Yes.
The penis.
The penis dangle. Now people on Twitter are going crazy for this, Jonathan. They all want to know where to get this. Okay. Jonathan, we went out and got you a pair.
Nah, I'm good.
And we are going to send you on the 7 train wearing it.
Where do I get the YSL penis earrings?
We are going to send you on the.
I want them.
Oh
No.
my God. So, I don't know what to say about that.
I think we found ourselves a stocking stuffer for Kimberly.
Would you wear the penis pendant or the earrings?
Oh, absolutely. Kim definitely would.
I would never pay that amount for them, but I think it'd be funny.
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine seeing someone and then staring, and you're not going to be the person who's like, are those penises on your ear?
But by the way, lots of the Brad squad are politicking that Tamika get a pair. They said it would look very great on Tamika. Tamika would look fabulous with a penis hanging. I'm sure Kevin would be really proud to walk around with you with penises all over.
True. You can even say it's life size if you want to be shady.
No, Kevin, like, that ain't mine. That ain't mine. Mine's a little bigger than that, right?
You can't wear mine on my ears.
All right, now we got to get to immigration. All right, so go back. All right, we got to change gears now.
Yeah.
All right, because we do got to get to everything. All right, so this is the time of the show when we're going to answer your immigration questions. But before we do that, getting answers to immigration questions. Please tell them one more time to please share and let everybody know that we are going to be serious in answering your immigration questions now.
All right, guys, so this is what we're all here for, immigration questions. You guys can ask any questions, any answers, and you can also help so many people. But the way you can help them is by sharing. Because if people don't know about the show, how are they going to ask the questions? And of course, when we get better questions, we give a better show. So what do you have to do to share?
You hit that little share button. It says share. You're going to hit it and you're going to share it onto your own timeline, onto friends' timelines, into friends' direct messages, into groups that you're a member of. And on YouTube, you're going to share it, copying the link and posting it into all the groups on WhatsApp that you're a member of. I totally send it to my family every day, into different people in your WhatsApp, into your text messages. Share that link.
Yeah.
Boom.
All right. So I'm just hearing from Groundhog Sam.
Yeah.
And maybe you know the answer. I don't. He or she, Groundhog Sam, wants to know if you have to buy batteries separately for the pendant. I don't know the answer to this. The batteries come with this because he's putting his money together for the 680.
For $680.
And he wants to know if batteries come. You have to buy the batteries separately.
I don't think
for the
they
pendant.
actually vibrate. I think they're just there.
Okay, Groundhog Sam is not. It's not vibrating. It's just some. But because they said it's groundhog size, so you know.
Oh no!
No.
For $680, there better be batteries included. You better not make me run out to the bodega and buy those cheap $18 batteries.
Can you imagine you go out, you're like, Kim, is your necklace vibrating?
I'm so sorry. It'll be like right next to the mic and it'll start vibrating in the middle of the
that's
show.
not mine. That Groundhog Sam let me borrow it for the night.
I like this. I'm ready.
All right, now we got to get to our immigration questions. That was Hump Day, but we are here to answer your immigration questions. We're going to go to Luz in Philadelphia, and we're going to make this very serious now. Luz, how are you?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, this is Luz. I got a question for my brother's case.
Okay.
He was in the United States for 15 years, paying taxes. He owns a house in Philadelphia, and he was deported back to
Why was he deported?
May.
Why was he deported?
He was charged for sexual soliciting.
So you're trying to get a prostitute?
Yes.
Okay. He should have went to, by the way, I don't want to make a joke, but he should have went to Sex Island. He would have had no problem, right, if we were watching earlier. But okay. So any event, yeah, so this, did he have a green card or nothing?
Nothing.
Nothing. So he was out of status. He was out of status.
Yes, but he has a work authorization card, but he has a wife and 3 kids.
So so how do you get deported for soliciting a prostitute? Because should only be a petty offense, a crime of moral turpitude, one time.
Well, he was arrested, and then later he was denied on his authorization worker card.
All right, but he's married to a U.S. citizen.
No, she's illegally. Yep.
Oh, she's here out of status too. That's why he got deported then. Okay, okay. So now the question is what? You want to get him back?
So he owns a house in Philadelphia.
Owning a house doesn't help him come back to America.
Right, and he owns. He has 3 kids. Which is little hurts from his wife and the kids.
Okay, none of that helps him. This was all stuff that should have been discussed before he got deported. Once he leaves the country, he has to be able to apply for a green card to come back. There's no law that says you were here out of status, you got deported for committing a crime, you get to come back because you got kids a wife who's living illegally in America in a home. There's no law that says that. The only way he's coming back is if he has parents or a spouse who's legal. So what we need to do is we have to not work on him. We got to work on the wife who is here and figure out a way for the wife who is in America to get a green card. Because if she can get a green card, then we can get him back. So that's the way it would go. Now, whether or not we can get the wife a green card, I have no idea, but that's the only way he's coming back. So hold on 1 second, and let's see where we go from there. All right? All right. He didn't like, I guess he didn't like joking around that he should have went to Sex Island. No, that wasn't funny.
He should have.
It wasn't funny because the guy got deported.
Yeah.
It was just so apropos.
And it was
I feel bad now.
fresh in your mind.
It was fresh in my mind. I feel bad. It was a poor choice of a joke.
Yeah.
Right.
Unfortunately.
You win some, you lose some, Brad.
Yeah, I'm not, always, right.
Right.
Sometimes a little off.
A little off.
Right, that was a bad joke.
You can't bat 1,000.
No, I can't.
Sometimes we make bad
Sorry.
jokes.
It was just fresh in my mind.
It was.
That we're talking about Sex Island, and then the first call is the guy gets deported for soliciting a prostitute.
Should have gone somewhere where it's
Right, but the reality is he can't come back ever. Unless the wife gets legal. So that's what we have to work on.
It's tough situations.
Yeah. BC in Chicago.
Hi.
How are you?
I want a question. Good evening.
Yes.
I came into the country 2016, but at the point of entry, I was denied an admission. So I went back to my home country, applied for visa again, and I was granted. So I came back 2017. And I'm now married to a U.S. citizen. I want to know if I can adjust my status or if I need a waiver before adjusting.
When you got turned back, what year was that?
2016.
Okay, so when you got the visa in 2017, the embassy had no idea that you got turned back in 2016.
They know. They saw it.
So then how'd you get the visa?
Yes, I got the visa back.
Okay, so then if that's the case, it's possible you're able to adjust. If they didn't know about it, then you basically have committed a crime, and there's a big difference. So what I would suggest we do before you do anything is let's confirm that the embassy knew about this, and I guess you had to have gotten a waiver to come back, and you did get the waiver, and then we'll take it from there. Well, because if you get turned back at the airport, you have a summary exclusion for 5 years. You can't come back without a waiver, period. So I'm not sure what you did then. So hold on 1 second, okay?
Okay.
All right. And we need to pull your records and see what happened. Anthony in Adelanto, California. Anthony.
Yeah, Brad. How you doing?
Good. What's going on?
Happy birthday, Brad.
Thank you. It's not my birthday. We were joking around. My birthday's in September, but I appreciate it, though. Thank you.
Okay. Brad, you're really great. You're awesome. You're awesome.
Thank you.
I love your show.
Thank you.
I have 2 questions for you. We filed some time ago, and they've sent us an interview letter for early December. My question is this. Is it necessary for me to go to the interview for us to go with this co-sponsor's proof of evidence in original copies or just ordinary copies?
The original copies would be better.
Because, some persons don't feel comfortable releasing the original copies.
Well, there is no, the copy of the passport's fine. You don't have to bring his original passport. There is no original copy of a tax return. It's a copy of a copy of a copy. So that's fine.
Yeah, we have
and you have an original job letter, and that's what you take.
Job letter, but we have the 3 years of his tax clearance, which we have submitted.
Fine.
Then they sent evidence of a letter of evidence that we should provide more evidence on him. So we sent his passport card and naturalization certificate.
So you're fine.
In copies, but he said he can't find the original. So
that's fine.
With his passport card.
That's fine. You don't have to bring his original passport. That's fine.
Okay, so we can go with the passport card and his naturalization certificate.
Yes,
photocopies.
More than enough. Yes.
Oh, okay. Thank you. So then the last question, please.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of custody paper should I present to immigration for my kids' custody under my mom in my home country?
Why do you need to submit a custody paper?
Yeah, it's among the list of requirements. They said we should bring
You're getting an adjustment through your wife.
Yes.
You don't need to bring anything about custody about your kids. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. So don't worry about it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because when they send you a list of documents, they send for every possible scenario. But this case has nothing to do with your kids.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Brad.
All right. Best of luck.
God bless you, Brad. We enjoy your program a lot. God bless you.
Thank you.
God
Thank
bless
you. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. You can. He blessed you too. Go camera. Come on. Where's TriCaster guy?
Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony.
There you go. There you go.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
God bless you.
All right. Thank you. All right.
Bye.
All right. TriCaster guy a little slow on the
sleeping
over there. you know what happens sometimes is because he's got so much hair covering his ears. May not be
that luscious mane.
He has a luscious mane.
Yeah.
He's trying to pay attention, but sometimes sound gets muffled a little bit. So. I'm waiting for. All right, let's go to Jermaine in Middletown, Connecticut. Jermaine.
Hi, Brad. Night.
How are you?
I'm great. And you guys?
Good. What's going on?
Okay. Now, my question is, my situation is rather, I'm a Jamaican living here in the U.S.
Right.
Now, I have a temporary green card.
Right.
Now, I wish to vacation in December this year, back home to either Jamaica or on a cruise outside of the U.S. But my passport, my Jamaican passport, will be expiring next year, April. Now, will I have any challenges doing this travel?
When are you going?
I'm going to either Jamaica or I'm going on a cruise.
When?
December of this year.
You're fine. You have the advanced parole?
I'm sorry?
You have advanced parole, right? Oh, no, you have the conditional green card. You have the 2-year green card,
Conditional
right?
green card.
Yeah, fine. Go on your trip. It's fine.
Even though it's going to expire less than 6 months?
Yeah, I mean, you're coming back in 2 weeks. It's still good.
Okay.
If not, go renew it if you're scared. But, I mean, it's a valid passport. Come back in.
I won't have enough time to renew it. That's the thing, because
Okay.
it's going to take 4 to 6 months.
So go renew it now and travel with the one that's still good till April. The planes are going to let you on. They're going to let you into Jamaica. They're going to let you back into America. I promise you.
Okay. And on the cruise?
And on the cruise too. No. Enjoy your cruise.
More cruises.
Yeah,
Thank you very much,
Be careful for the Carnival one. It kind of tips. I don't know if you watched the show the other day. All right?
Yes, I did.
All right, okay.
All right, thanks.
Okay, be well.
Bye-bye.
All right. We're going to get sued by Carnival soon. But it's true. We can't be sued, and it truly happened. Yeah. Truly happened. I'm not making it up.
And don't go on Titanic 2, because they have Titanic 2 coming out.
Thing.
Yeah.
They're an exact replica.
Hell no.
That would scare the hell out of me.
What? I would. You couldn't even pay me. That's one of the reasons why I don't go on cruises.
It's good, and they're gonna replicate the exact trip too, right?
And the exact iceberg.
You'd be like, nobody told me I'm gonna be in the water with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Right.
Where's Leo?
Where's Rose?
Leo, you stick with me. I would have scooched over and given you some place on the door. We got this.
Right.
All right, let's go to Ron in Los Angeles. Ron.
Hello.
Hey.
Yeah. Sorry. How are you?
Good. What's going on?
Yeah, I just have a few questions. So in brief, I'm not sure if it's okay for me to get paid for my time off hours for a week from my current H-1B employer if I will start working for my new employer, who is my EB-2 petitioner, by January. So I'll be working with them, and at the same time, it will be my last week with my current H1 employer, but I'll be using my time off hours so I don't have to report to them. Is it okay for me to start working?
Whoa. Okay. All right. You're working for your new EB-2. Did they do a change of status on your H-1B? Do you have an adjustment pending? What do you have?
Yes, I already have my EAD combo card.
Okay. So if you have your EAD combo card, you're legally allowed to work for whoever you want.
Okay, even if, this H1 employer will just pay me time off hours for just 1 week.
That's fine, because once you have the EAD employment card, you're working on that, and you don't have to be in compliance with your H-1B anymore. So however you work it out, you work it out. All right?
Okay. All right. And just one last question, because I am planning to go home for my sister's graduation in June. So my EAD expires June 20, and her graduation is like first week of June. Can I go back to the United States without problem if I'll go back like June 10?
Well, I would go renew all of this before you leave.
Before, okay.
Yeah, all right? Don't take a chance, within a few days.
All right.
All right?
Okay, all right. Thank you.
You're very welcome. All right. That was Ron we just spoke to, right? So now we're going to speak to Ruthie in Greensboro, North Carolina. Ruthie.
Hey, guys. Hey, Kim. Hey, Yo-Yo.
Hey, Ruthie.
Is this
Ruthie Cutie?
Yes, it is.
You want to know why I'm not excited?
Why?
Because I said hello to her and she says,
bro.
"Hey, it's Ruthie Cutie!" Because I go, "Hey, Ruthie, how are you?" She goes, "Hey, Jonathan,
doing
hey,
well.
Kim."
No,
I'm like,
she
"What
said,
about
"Hey,
me?"
Brad."
She said, "Hey, guys," and then said, "Hey, Kim."
Because she knows she's going to have a one-on-one
Right.
conversation with you.
So I didn't get too excited. She wasn't excited to speak to me. Why would I be excited? I'm only kidding, Ruthie. What's going on?
I'm excited to speak to
I
you,
know,
Brad.
I
You
know.
over here making everybody smiling, everybody
good,
happy.
good,
I hope
good.
I can be happy after I'm finished talking to you,
I
too.
hope so. What's going on?
All right. So my husband, he was filed for in 1998. He came to America.
Right.
His mom filed for him.
He was over 21 or under 21?
He was over 21.
Okay.
Well, he's here. He's been a citizen for quite some years now. However, he has a son back in Jamaica. He was 2 years old when he came here. Is there by any chance he would fall under the grandparent?
Grandfathering?
Yeah.
Sounds like it, yeah. Where is he now? Where is he now?
He's still in Jamaica.
Okay, well, what the grandfathering does is it allows you to pay a penalty fee here in the United States when your date is reached on the waiting list. It doesn't make his green card go faster. It just allows him, if he's out of status, to get his green card here in America. But
that would allow him to get his green card?
In America, if he is illegal, because he was in the system prior to 98. However, it doesn't make his case go faster. So grandfathering doesn't make you jump the line. What grandfathering does is if you happen to be out of status in America and you don't want to go home to do a provisional waiver, you can pay $1,000 here, but you still have to wait in line till your case is reached. So if your husband is a U.S. citizen, and I assume this child now is over 21 years old?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
He is.
So he's still going to wait 6-7 years for a green card.
Okay. I was just wanting to make sure.
But he is grandfathered in if he happened to have been illegally in America. The answer would be yes.
Oh,
okay.
no, he's not here.
Yeah. All right.
All right, thank
Sorry
you.
about that. Okay.
No, that's okay.
All right. You still love us? I didn't give you the right answer.
I do.
You want?
Of course, I got a student every day.
Okay, good. All right. Be well.
All right. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
All right. We love when the squad calls up, right? Love when the squad calls up. All right. Let's go to Tasha in Manhattan. Tasha.
Hi, Brian.
How are you?
Good. I'm good.
What's going on?
So my kids received their EAD card. And the SS number.
Okay.
That was last Friday.
Right.
And yesterday they received their notices for interview on the 17th next month. But I didn't receive anything yet, so I'm wondering to know how.
Go on the interview.
You know.
I mean, your cases may have been separated. Go on the interview. But the kids won't be approved until you get approved. But certainly send the kids on the interview anyway.
But the thing is that my kids, they live in New York with my aunt, and I live in Pennsylvania with my husband.
That's fine. Send the kids to the interview.
So does my husband need to go with the interview, or do I go?
Your husband and you, everybody.
Okay.
Okay.
Because I was a bit concerned because, they got their stuff. I got my EAD card. I haven't
It's all
got my
screwed up.
socialist yet.
It's all screwed up. Absolutely. Okay, they should have gone with you. You should all get the interviews together. They shouldn't go ahead of you. It is all screwed up. So yes, that is correct in your assessment. However, if you have an interview and you don't show up to that interview, the case will be denied. So you have to go no matter what. The whole family has to go. And as I said in the beginning of my answer, maybe I wasn't clear, so I'll be clear, they're going to have the case pending because the kids are not entitled to a green card till you get the green card. But yeah, it's all screwed up. Absolutely.
Okay.
All right?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye now.
What happens when you do it on your own. All right, so now we're going to get to the point of our show. That is a highlight for many.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a highlight for many because there's plenty of people who made comments on our Facebook page and on our YouTube page that at the end of the comment has a question mark and they have a concern. And we like to call this social media check-in. And this is when I'm going to be answering your immigration questions that you left in our Facebook and YouTube comments section.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I want to actually start off with,
There we go. A little slow today. What's going on there, right?
Well, machine issues.
Machine issues.
I don't know.
Are we having machine issues?
I have no.
You have to have no.
Toss up on that.
Silly says no.
No.
All right. So I actually want to start off with a comment instead of a question.
Okay.
So Donette Bryan said, Brad, just letting you know by listening to your advice, I did my adjustment of status paperwork. I got my work permit on Monday and advanced parole, and I received my social in the mail today. Thanks so much for all that you're doing for the immigrant community. Oh, and Brad, I didn't have to go to the Social Security office to apply for the social. It was mailed to me. So that process is actually new because previously people would have to go to the office. So she just wants to let you know.
Thank you very much.
And thank you so much for everything that you're doing.
Wonderful.
So congratulations.
Congratulations.
Aw, Donette.
Very nice.
Our first social media question.
Yes. Brad, you suck. Why do you suck so much, Brad? Why? Our first social media question, also from the same. Why do you suck so much?
From the same person? That would be quite a... Kadiatu Sako on YouTube says, I applied for my I-601. I've got my biometric done 2 weeks ago, and USCIS sent a notice for the I-485 interview. My husband is a U.S. citizen with 3 kids. They are 18, 14, and 12. I don't have my work permit yet. When can I expect that?
We answered that question. Was that the woman who just called? The kids got the interview and she didn't even get a work permit yet?
No, she's gotten, it sounds like she's gotten an interview as well.
Okay, so the answer is that everybody should be going together if it was done properly. I don't know what happened, but if you get scheduled for an interview, you got to go. If you don't go, your case will be denied.
All right, so we have one from Vanessa Wish. She says that I've been married for 1.5 years now. My husband is in the process of getting his citizenship. I came here without inspection. I filed the form, the I-131. I have 2 kids. Do I still need to file for the P waiver to go back home?
Unless your husband is military or former military or 245I grandfathered in, like what we talked about with Ruthie Cutie, you have to do the P waiver, also known in all other circles as the provisional waiver.
Okay, and also she has a follow-up. Can I file a B2 visa for my parents even if I don't have a green card?
You do not file anything for your parents. They file a B2 visa. They will be turned down because their daughter is living in America illegally. So once you get a green card, it would be a better time for the parents to file for their B2 visa.
Gunny Hines said, my friend entered here illegally through Canada. He has a 20-year-old daughter. Can the daughter now file for dad?
No, daughter has to be 21.
Well, 22.
So she's 22.
You said 20.
20.
Oh, sorry, 22.
Okay, but now the dad entered without inspection. So how's the dad going to adjust his status unless he's 245I or can do a parole in place because the daughter's in the military or former military? Other than that, the dad has to do a provisional waiver, and you can't get do a provisional waiver through the daughter. So maybe.
All right. London says, my friend's mother got married and was filing for him, but his mother died before the interview. Anyways, he and his stepdad went to the interview and they didn't grant him any status, so they sent him a letter. What's his next move? Because it states he has 33 days left in the country.
The next move is call me, because we have to fix this issue. Okay, whatever you're doing is wrong. I gotta fix it. Until I see all the papers, I don't know how to fix it.
Chevy said, hey Brad, could a provisional waiver ever be denied? And if so, what happens?
There's a lot of provisional waivers that are denied. They're usually denied rather than approved. It's because to get a provisional waiver, you have to show extreme and unusual hardship. So by definition, unusual hardship or extreme hardship, it wouldn't be usual to approve it. It would be unusual to approve it just by the words that they use. Now, with that said, I would say more than our fair share get approved here in our office. But nationally, it's unusual to get approved, not usual, because the definition is unusual hardship.
Wow.
Because if everybody has unusual hardship, you know what that would be?
A usual hardship.
A usual hardship. Exactly.
Yeah. All right, Murad Al-Sharif on YouTube says, it's been 22 months since I did my biometric for the N400 form. No update since then. Every time I call the USCIS, they tell me it's the background check. What should I do? I'm in the New York office.
Just live your life. It's 12 months, 14 months, 15 months. That's what it's going to be.
So even though it's been 22 months.
He's Sharif.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because he's probably from one of the Trump countries.
Right.
The Trump countries.
One of the Middle Eastern countries.
One of the Middle Eastern countries, Muslim countries, however you want, Islamic countries, whatever you want to do. So if it's 22 months and you haven't heard anything, I didn't realize it was 22 months.
Yes.
Then he should come in and we should do what's called a mandamus, which is force the government to do their job.
Mm-hmm. Everyone's got to light a fire.
That's right.
That's right.
We love suing the government. Abadir, you made Abadir? He sues the government all day long.
Does he really?
That's all he does. That's his only job.
I could see that.
Yes.
Can I sue the government?
You can, yes. Yeah.
But for what?
I'll
You have to
find
have
a way.
reason
I'll
to
find.
sue the government.
I'm suing you because I'm just too damn good looking. Yeah,
right.
Y'all came to me because can I sue the government because I'm so good looking.
I want to sue the government because the president offends me on a
Yes.
moral level. Ilangwe Hallie wants to know, I filed for the adjustment of status 2 months ago based on marriage. I have to travel abroad to complete the studies I had suspended. I plan to go back and complete it once my advance parole is issued. Would that be a good idea so I could return in a few weeks before my green card interview? Or can I withdraw my application and have my spouse refile for me while I'm abroad completing my education?
It is not a good idea to do your education on advanced parole. Advanced parole is for a short, innocent trip abroad, not for a semester or 2 semesters, 3 semesters. So if you want to do your studies abroad, withdraw your case, go home, do your studies abroad, let your spouse refile for you, but buyer beware, because you will never allow to come back to the United States again until you get your green card. If you've overstayed by more than a year, you're going to need a waiver, and there's no guarantee that you get it.
So we have a celebrity in our comments.
Who?
John Cena.
Back!
It's not the real one.
It's got his face picture.
But it's not the real one. It's not certified John Cena.
This is on YouTube. You never know.
You never know.
John Cena says, hey.
Yeah. You tell The Rock, John.
Right.
I am coming for him.
To recruit him as my vice president.
That's right.
Just spat.
Oh, gosh.
We have an whole other area right here on our desk. We're holding it for The Rock.
Yeah.
All right, it should be a show of 4 people.
Yeah, there you go.
But
It's been open.
It's been open. We're holding it for The Rock.
Yeah.
All right, so he says, hi. Look at The Rock comes out. He says, hey, Brad, how you doing? I filed an I-360 to Nation Benefits Center in Missouri
National Benefits Center.
National, but okay, so it says Nation. So National Benefits Center in Missouri back in May 2018. It already has been 6 months. Can I follow up on it? If
Yes,
not,
of course.
how long does it take?
You can follow up on it all the time. Why
Okay,
not?
how long does it usually take?
What is the application you did?
The I-360.
Oh, I-360 takes 18 months, 20 months.
Oh, okay, so it's only 6 months.
It's an abuse case?
It doesn't say.
Because an I-360 can be an abuse case, could be a religious worker, could be a SIDGE, could be a Filipino war veteran from World War II. There's lots of different things it could be.
There are,
But it would all be around the same time, the 20.
No, I was assuming the I-360 is a VAWA.
Got you.
Right.
Jim's finances has. I'm hoping you can help me parse
Jim's
this
finances.
out. Jim's finances.
You want me to be his accountant? What do you want me to be?
He's got a legitimate question.
He's got a legitimate question. Okay.
He
That's
said,
a great way to promo your,
right?
your business.
Yeah.
Call Jim's finances.
Right. Here's my screen name.
That would be great. Jim has a question, Brad.
Jim has a question.
If you need an accountant, would you call Jim's Finances at 1-800-JIF Jim Finances?
He wants to know. He saw you in a video a few years ago. A few years ago.
What kind of video?
And you.
What kind of video?
Hump Day News.
Hump Day News video?
Yeah. And it was under an amateur tab of some sort. Jim's Finances saw you in a video saying that plane was the safest way to travel for somebody who's undocumented and only has a passport. However, he's not sure if that advice still holds true today. The lady that he's seeing has a passport, and she's going now. This is where I'm having trouble. She's going from NE
New England
or Nebraska to SW. SW.
What would SW be?
Well, I even Googled SW places, SW state. It came up with southwestern Minnesota.
Or maybe she's flying Southwest Airlines.
Maybe she's flying Southwest.
Okay.
It just says, yeah.
So why don't you do like domestic and international?
So what's the question?
So really the question is,
does that advice still hold?
Does that advice still hold?
I think it does. You know, reasonable people can differ, but based on my experience, if you take trains and they go up near the border, we did a while back the 100-mile zone, and I don't know if we have that graphic still, Jill. Do we have that graphic? We don't have it. Oh my God, Jill's voice is terrible. She really needs to go home. It's terrible. Did you hear her voice?
I did not. She only spoke to your ear, but that
she
was.
Goes, it's out of the chartcast. But Jill has a beautiful voice, but she's sick.
Julie's gonna set you on fire one day.
Fire, yeah.
So between Julian and Jill, forget it. I'm making enemies today.
We will never have a clean show.
So any event, no, she doesn't sound good. She should go home.
Oh yeah.
So anyways, we did a while back the 100-mile zone. And it's where ICE is allowed to stop cars and trains and everything else within that 100-mile zone. And it's about 2/3 of the United States.
Right.
And it goes all the way around California, Southwest Florida, all up the East Coast and along the whole Canadian border.
Right.
ICE works within those areas. They are stopping cars, they're stopping trains, and they're asking people for their identification. So my opinion is if you are going to drive anywhere or be in a train anywhere within 100 miles of the border, you don't go that way. Now, that's not to say you go into an airport and they're going to stop you and not stop you. They're going to stop you at the airport. I just think the odds that they're going to stop you at the airport when you show a valid identification are infinitesimally much smaller than if you take a train or a bus or a car and you get stopped in some sort of ICE roadblock.
Nice.
So I still agree with that. Other people would disagree. Maybe even someone in my office disagreed. I don't know. But that's my opinion.
That's why this is the Brad Show.
That's right.
All right. Say-in Word Jackson says, with the changes that are happening with immigration, how will that affect us citizens filing for their spouses from another country if they're currently in the States?
There's no changes. Go file.
Mateo would like to know what happens during the process of removal of conditions on a green card after the submission of the application. But I got divorced before the approval of the removal of conditions application.
So you got to let immigration know you're divorced, and you got to request that you change it to a waiver of the joint filing.
Tams Oxley Parker says, I overstayed my B1, B2 visa. I just received my EAD and AP. Is travel internationally safe?
Yes. Yes.
Belgium Kim Ricky wants
Belgium
to
Kim
know.
Ricky.
Mr. Bernstein.
Yes, Belgium Kim.
Is it a lost case when someone's case gets to administrative review? And if it's not lost, what could you do?
It is not a lost case. I would start by harassing the shit out of them, excuse my language, because squeaky wheel gets the oil. And then if they don't give any oil, you sue them. It's called a mandamus to force them to do their government job.
Malquence Brown on YouTube says, my question is, if I already have a priority date, June 1st, 2018, unmarried, over 21, filed by my mother who's a U.S. citizen, should I go ahead and file the I-485 or wait until USCIS instructs it?
No, USCIS will never instruct it. So you got to know when to do it properly.
Fabian would like to know, does your wife need to have your last name when you're filing for her?
Not in 2018. It's a modern world.
Steffi Daly, sorry, I'm trying to read this. Steffi Daly says, hey, Brad, I'm just going to read it. Year do immigration reach for mother filing for daughter over 21?
So she wants to know where the priority dates have reached for mother filing over daughter for age 21, which is the F1 category.
Let's go to the visa bulletin.
Exactly, Belgium Kim. We're going to the visa bulletin, the old trusty visa bulletin. And I will go and open the visa bulletin.
To the visa bulletin.
To the visa bulletin. It's exactly what you do. Everybody get in the back car. We're going to the visa bulletin.
Here we go.
Now play some like 70s music.
They're up to August 8th, 2011.
Curly girl Shauna wants to know, if an undocumented wife divorces her abusive husband, could the wife get full custody of the kids even though she's undocumented? And
Yes.
is she eligible for child support and alimony?
Absolutely. It's in the best interest of the child. Where the child goes has nothing to do with the documented status or undocumented status of the wife.
Okay, Harley Waller on YouTube says, Brad, how much is the visa fee when you're filing for your son under 21?
$535.
So Nell said, my wife brought her ex here in 2013 and things didn't work out. He left the house in 2016, so she filed for divorce and finalized it this year. So I want to know, can she petition for me now, or is there a time frame that she's got to wait?
Has it been more than 5 years since she had a green card?
No, since she had her green card, that we don't know.
The key thing is it has to be 5 years after she got her green card, or unless she's a citizen, one or the other.
Okay, is this the same question?
No, it's a different
one. Okay, Curly Girl.
We're going to do
two
more.
Okay.
Two more.
Two more. Curly Girl Shauna says, hey, Brad, if I file for a VAWA, how much evidence of abuse is needed? I only have evidence pictures of the last time he busted my mouth, nose, and broke my tooth, but not the other times that he hit me.
That is more than enough.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Curly Girl Shauna, get out of that.
Exactly.
Once is more than it should have been. Nice. Exo Cavella said, how long does it take to get a green card when your daughter's filing for your mother, the daughter's living in the U.S., and mom is living in the Caribbean?
About 15 months. I'm just laughing.
What are you laughing at?
Because Princess Diddy Hudson said, no Brad mood today. He's very awesome. Cool shade smile. Awesome cool shade smile. Today's the best day to call in people. And it's very funny is because, apparently I show my emotions
on
here.
your face.
I didn't realize.
God, yes.
Yes.
You would be the best person to play poker with.
I don't play poker.
That's exactly
why. Which is why you would be the best, so they can win more. And you're rich.
Yeah. You just...
You know what happens? Last time I played poker, I looked around the table. I'm saying, I wonder who the sucker is, and I couldn't figure it out. And you know what happens when you can't figure out who the sucker is?
You were the sucker.
You're the sucker. You go to a poker game and you don't know who the sucker is. That means it's you.
That means you shouldn't be playing.
You shouldn't be playing.
100%. 100%. Yeah.
All right. So, the South Texas Family Residential Center in Dilley, Texas, is the largest immigrant holding facility in the United States. Excuse me. The detention center has the capacity to hold 2,400 women and children, and the population is constantly fluctuating, sometimes even over 2,400 people. None of the people held there have any criminal records, and nearly all are seeking asylum, but are sitting in jail. Now, Katy Murdza is the Advocacy Coordinator with the Dilley Pro Bono Project. The project helps with pro bono legal services for the mothers and children detained in this facility, some indefinitely. Katy and her team collected 22 incredibly moving and painful letters written by some of the women who were separated from their children earlier this summer and wanted the public to know about the experiences of mothers being separated from children, sometimes even babies. Katy joined me to discuss the Dilley Pro Bono Project's work, their efforts to get the families still being held released, and the letters from the Dilley Project. Let's watch together. Katy Murdza is the Advocacy Coordinator with the Dilley Pro Bono Project. She has worked at the South Texas Family Residential Center in Dilley, Texas for over a year and works as an advocate for immigrants and asylum seekers. After meeting with some of the women who were separated from their children earlier this summer, and these women who expressed a desire to tell the public what they were experiencing, Katy and her team collected 22 incredibly moving and painful letters now featured on the Dilley Pro Bono website. Katy is here to discuss her work and what she's observed and experienced working so closely with the families seeking asylum in the United States. Welcome, Katy, and thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me, Brad. I'm excited to be able to share these stories further.
So tell me, how did the U.S. government allow you to enter this detention facility and work with the immigrants?
While these families do not have government-appointed attorneys, they do have the right to an attorney if they can afford their own attorney or if there is a pro bono attorney willing to represent them. And so we come into the detention center, we have to seek a special clearance to provide legal services and go through security, and we're able to work with them.
So the Dilley Pro Bono Project is in essence pro bono attorneys along with coordination by you and others as well. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Right.
Some of our staff are attorneys, some aren't, but we're there to provide free legal services.
And you are down in Dilley, Texas now?
I'm in San Antonio right now. I work remotely part-time and then in Dilley part-time.
So where is Dilley, Texas, actually? I know it's in a remote area.
It's an hour and 15 minutes southwest of San Antonio. It's in a town with a population of under 4,000 people. And our groups of volunteers that come every week fly into San Antonio and then have to drive out there to this very small town to be able to provide legal services. It's about an hour north of the border, in the middle of nowhere.
So now earlier this summer, Trump and Department of Homeland Security were separating families. Were they being separated at this facility as well?
No, the families who were separated before they could ever come to this facility. The facility is only for mothers who are with their children. And so the separated families were sent, the mothers to adult detention facilities and the children to shelters for children. It was only later, once they were reunified according to court order, that they came to us.
I understand. So it's basically a family facility.
We worked with families after they were reunified, and they told us about how horrible it had been.
Sure.
But no, I didn't work with them while they were separated.
There's mothers and children in this facility. Can you describe what this facility is? I've read that they're huge cages. If you listen to Donald Trump, it's a beautiful school that the children are going to.
The worst conditions that you're hearing about, children who are in a cage-like facility, that's occurring on the border as soon as they arrive in the first few days. So the detention center, fortunately, the conditions aren't quite that horrible, but it still causes physical and emotional harm to the children. These are children who have already been traumatized in their home country, on the journey, and at the border. Still being in this detention center setting can be further traumatizing to them. We see a lot of behavioral changes in the children and children who aren't receiving the physical medical care that they need.
Do you have, as part of the Pro Bono Project, you provide lawyers, do you provide any sort of psychological counseling as well?
We're only cleared to be providing legal services, so we can't provide counseling. There is some available at the detention center, although we don't believe it's enough for the level of trauma that these families are
imagine.
experiencing.
Now, how many families are actually in this facility at the moment?
So the capacity is 2,400 people. We are not given official numbers on any given day. I recently heard 1,200, but that number can go up and down frequently.
Okay. So the 1,200 people, do they get court hearings? Are your attorneys going with them to court?
We are there to help asylum-seeking families, most of whom come from Central America, but who can come from all over the world, go through the first step of their asylum process, which is a screening interview before they even get to court. And what we're advocating for is that families don't have to go to detention and don't have to go through this process and just go straight to a judge to make sure they get their fair day in court, because we believe these interviews can be very arbitrary. It can be very traumatizing for them to be in detention and go through this interview, and it's a waste of taxpayer dollars. But for now, we are helping them go through the interviews to make sure they get positive decisions and are released. So we prep each person for their interview.
And they're actually being detained unnecessarily. They didn't commit any crimes that I'm aware of, and there's a lot cheaper ways to. The only reason to detain them is to make sure they show up in court. And there's a lot of easier ways to detain somebody than detaining somebody to make them show up in court. They can put an ankle bracelet on and it would cost 1/10 of what it does to jail them. And it's apparent that Donald Trump is trying to discourage people from coming to America and applying for asylum. Do you see that happening, or do you still see people coming? You know, they have, on Fox News, they got the caravan, the countdown, 25 days, 24 days before we get invaded by the worst army in America. And it's basically women and children who are suffering from violence or escaping from violence and family misconduct.
What we see from working with asylum-seeking families is that they can't be discouraged from coming, because the only reason anyone would make this very difficult journey with a small child is if they believe that the child's life is in danger in their home country. And so people are coming out of necessity, and as long as they believe that their child could die in their home country, they're going to make this difficult journey and take the chance of seeking asylum in the United States.
And you can only imagine how bad it is for them there if they're willing to accept being in jail with their child here as a better alternative.
Exactly.
Jeff Sessions did make a decision a few months ago, I'm sure you're aware of it, that said that people who are escaping domestic abuse, it is not a claim for asylum anymore. That a lot of people were claiming that. Have you seen what's been going on with those claims in court? Are they on appeal in federal court? Are people making different claims now? What's going on with that?
Fortunately, we're working at the credible fear interview stage, and there we still have had our near 100% success rate. We have had to put some more time into helping the women prepare their stories. They have all of the information that's needed to pass the interview, but often they need a lot of explanation of the context of the interview, which parts of their story are important, practicing giving specific examples, explaining how they know why they can't depend on the police for protection, because that type of thing is just such a given for them that they've never had to explain it to someone. So we've been taking more time to make sure the women understand the new standards.
Does the mother and child live in a jail cell together, individual jail cell, or is it a group home where you have many people living in one room? What actually does it look like inside?
They're staying in bunk beds with several other families in the room, but it does feel like a jail. There's a tall fence all around it. The daily schedule is very regimented, with children as young as 1 year old having to eat at certain meal times without flexibility for different children's behavior and routines. The children will sometimes say, we're in jail, we're locked up. They know that they're not at a summer camp, and their behavioral changes and trauma display that. The guards that are inside the facility don't have guns on them, but they do behave in a manner where correcting the mothers for small behaviors, stepping out of line, not following all of the rules, which are often hard to keep track of and feel like they're changing. And that really changes the structure of authority in a child's life, when previously, they were depending on the mother to be the one in charge, and that can have significant psychological consequences.
So are there other services besides, having family counselors to help children and mothers? What else is lacking there?
We're extremely concerned about the inadequate medical care in these facilities. We hear from families who are waiting for hours just to see, to have a medical appointment when their child is very sick. We hear that they've taken them to the clinic multiple times and the kids haven't received the medicine that they believe they need. We've seen kids rushed by ambulance or helicopter to the hospital 70 miles away in the city of San Antonio. We're seeing people who have to wait in 100 degrees outside waiting for their prescription every 4 hours to give their child. There's no specialist here. So people who need to see a cardiologist, a gynecologist, any type of specialist are often told they have to wait until they're released.
Is Dilley a privately for-profit detention center, or is it a government-owned detention center?
It is for-profit. It's operated by Core Civic, a private corporation, which is a contractor of the U.S. government.
And their one goal is not to help anybody in this facility. Their one goal is to give the least amount of services possible to make the biggest profit as possible.
Right. Our concern is that no one should be making a profit off of asylum-seeking families.
You're absolutely right. So now, is there anything that you and your organization can do or are doing? I know besides the legal help.
We're limited in what we're allowed to do in the detention center, but yes, it does often feel like we have this responsibility of being the only person that this person has ever entrusted with their story. Many of our volunteers and staff hear a particularly traumatic story of death threats or sexual assault, and the client tells us, I've never told anyone that before, which is why we need to make sure we spend the time and make sure that they feel comfortable with us and tell us everything relevant to their story. But it can be very, very sad and difficult talking to the families and hearing everything they've gone through.
So now your organization, the Dilley Pro Bono Project, you collected 22 letters from different women who were detained at this Dilley detention center. Was it designed to help? Was it designed to bring, some perspective on what's going on there?
The reunified families had been detained for months and they were in legal limbo. Courts were deciding what was going to happen to them. They couldn't be deported from a judge's order, but they also weren't being allowed to proceed with interviews in their asylum claims. And so many of them wanted to speak out about what they were experiencing and how hard it was for them to be in detention with children, but many were afraid to speak to a reporter on the phone after everything they'd been through, after ICE had separated them from their children. They were afraid that that could be done to them again. We talked to them and presented the alternative of writing down in a letter anonymously so that they could have that opportunity.
So basically, in essence, your organization is the only trusting organization to them. They wouldn't entrust this with anybody else, anybody from the news or the government or anybody working there.
Often clients do say that you're the first person who has welcomed me to the United States. And we try to remind them that there are so many people out there who do support them. They just haven't been able to meet them yet because they've been in detention since they got to the border.
So now these 22 women wrote these letters. Were you surprised to hear what they had to say?
I've heard so many horror stories from the border, but working with these reunified families was something new for all of us. Just hearing that extra level of trauma of being separated from a child. It's no wonder that these families got negative decisions in their original interviews because the mothers were just asking over and over for their children. They were threatened that they would be deported without ever seeing their child again, that their child had been given up for adoption. They were told all sorts of lies. It's just unimaginable what they were going through. And the letters, they did a beautiful job of explaining all of that.
So we have some audio tape of the actual letters that were recorded in English. What you're going to hear on the audio tape is our Miami correspondent Anna Ascona reading the letters, but these are the actual words that Anna is reading from the detainees. Nobody helped them draft this. This is their actual words 100%. Is that correct?
Yes.
We're going to hear them all in order, and then we'll discuss it a little bit after.
Elba's story. They started to call children's names and also the name of my son. He was asleep on the floor. I woke him up and told him, "Son, you're going maybe for only a week." We both cried when he said goodbye. We didn't know it was for 75 days. Camilla's story. We have suffered a lot. What the president did to us cannot be described. What will he gain from making so many people suffer in this way? What would he do if they took his child and didn't tell him where they have him and made him a prisoner and gave him dog food like they gave us in Port Isabel jail. Thank God now we're together and my daughter is now recuperating. Sandra's story. The moment they separated me from my son, I felt destroyed. I didn't know what was going to happen to my life because the officials told me that I would never see my son and that he was going to be given up for adoption. For me, those months were so desperate. I didn't even eat or sleep. I felt traumatized, and the worst was when I looked at them and asked for my child. The first thing they said was that he had been given up for adoption. I just cried and cried. Maria's story. We left our country to protect our children and to offer them a better future, not so that they would separate us from them and not for them to treat us like criminals. The mark they left on each one of us, the mothers and children, from having lived this torment, is one of the saddest things in our lives. I thank God for giving me the strength, hope, and will to keep fighting for God. There is no more beautiful miracle than knowing that outside there are people who are supporting us and that we are not alone.
You know, it's so powerful, this story. What was your reaction when you read them, and what did your organization do with these letters after you read them?
I mean, it was very difficult to read these letters just to hear what our government had done to these families. But each mother said that even though it was difficult to write it, she wanted to go through that in order for more people to know what was going on here so that they could take a stand against the government. And also each mother has felt that she wanted anything she shared about her story to represent the whole group. There's still 38 families, and we're looking for the release of all of them.
You know, unfortunately, I guess history keeps repeating itself. You wouldn't think that these things would happen in 2018. My family, myself, I have a very close family member who was at age 6 in detention in Greece after World War II, survived the Holocaust, was in detention with her mother as a 6-year-old. And they did not give enough food. And eventually her mother died, which would be the great-grandmother of my children. And she survived, ultimately was raised by other people because she had no mother, raised by her older sisters and brothers. But you would think that it would never happen again. And to this day, this woman who I know, who's in her 70s now, never forgot what that was like. And it really kind of followed her through her entire life and affected her life very negatively, I think. And unfortunately, again, you would think, we learned something from World War II and even World War I and even previous, but apparently not. What do you think of all that?
We're very concerned about what the effects will be more long-term on these children, because it's difficult for anyone to be in detention, but these are children from 1-year-old to 17 years old, and it's impossible to say how much psychological trauma will play out later in their lives because of this experience. Some of these children have now been detained total by the U.S. government for 6 months. Some of them arrived in May and were separated. So
you yourself got familiar with some of these women, two particularly, Elena and Gloria. Those are their pseudonyms, not their real names, I presume.
Right.
And they have also written letters, and I think you want to share Elena's letter with us.
There's another one that goes along with the campaign that we collaborated on with Amnesty International, where we're asking people to write a letter to the government on the website through a template and request for the release of all of these families. You already heard Isabella's letter. Her name is Gloria in the letter. For Elena, I can read her letter here. I came to the U.S. on May 29th with my 2 children with one goal. We never imagined that we would be separated so long and we'd be treated so badly. My children were far from me, and I didn't know if they were okay, if they were eating or sleeping. I have suffered a lot. My wish is to give the best to my children as a single mother. ICE harmed us a lot psychologically. We can't sleep well because my little girl thinks they are going to separate us again. I thank God because he gave me and continues to give me strength to continue, and I don't lose my faith that we will get out of this place together. They treated me badly because of my color. They laughed at me and they said that I was stained. It was the most difficult thing that could happen. I thank the Dilley Pro Bono Project lawyers that God put them in our paths to give me encouragement and tell us that my children and I are beautiful and that we are all equal. I believe that everyone who has children wouldn't want to go through what we went through, and I say with all my heart that I wouldn't want this to happen to anyone. May God bless you and thank you for thinking of us. We will never forget you. Everything is possible with Christ.
It's very powerful. Most people, how do you wake up every day and say, I want to continue? Is it that they're turning to religion, or do some people kind of just give up? Or how do people get the strength to continue day after day? Or is it simply that they have to because the alternative is even worse?
Many of the families do turn to religion. Many are trying to keep their spirits up by bonding together in this group of 38 women. We have a support group where we'll call all the families together and give them legal updates and ask them how they've been doing, and they've been able to form a little bit of a family in that way. But it is very difficult. Often some of them come to us and they say, I don't know how much longer I can do this. My children have stopped eating. They're depressed. I can suffer myself, but I can't stand to watch my children suffer. And they are at a very low point. And there's only so much that we can tell them.
Is anything going to improve there?
So the families were just allowed to have a new credible fear interview. We had argued that the previous ones were unfair because they were going through the torture of being separated from their children and couldn't focus, and that the children had never been given a chance to testify themselves and have their own interview. So all of the families within the past couple weeks just went through an interview. Many of them have already received positive decisions. We believe the interviews all went well, but the government has not said whether they're going to release the families now or not.
Now, generally speaking, if you came into the airport, you applied for asylum, and you passed the credible fear interview, you were released into the United States until you got to see a judge. So it's not that it's people coming here and just being allowed into America. It's people coming here and making a claim for asylum, having a government officer say, this is a valid claim for asylum. You have credibility, and your case would qualify for asylum. You still have to go see a judge to prove what you're saying. But this is not a situation where just people are come and just allowed into the United States of America. Now, generally in the past, once you passed your credible fear, you were released and paroled into the United States pending your deportation hearing. Do the lawyers feel confident that these families are ever going to be able to leave this facility? Because an asylum hearing could take 2-3 years before it's scheduled. But maybe because they're in detention, it'll be quicker.
We are very much hoping that these families, now that they've been through the interviews and done well in those interviews, will be released any day. But we haven't received confirmation that that will be the case. We know that the government, with recently proposed regulations, is attempting to change the current rules that under the Flores settlement state that children should only be detained for 20 days. We know that they are trying to keep people for months at a time now, as you mentioned, to go through their whole asylum process while in detention instead of being released to go to court.
So those rules aren't even being enforced. I mean, there's children who have been in detention for months and months and months, well over 20 days. Assuming they ultimately get released, which is what we hope and pray for, and you're doing an amazing, incredible, selfless job down there, your organization. Do you think they would ever get over this trauma, or is this something that's going to live with them for the rest of their lives, kind of like one of my family members?
I think that this is something they'll never forget, but I think it's very important that these families go into homes with family members and friends who have agreed to receive them already and have been waiting for them, and begin the process of healing and be together as a family, not having to live in a facility with other families and with guards telling them what to do, and have a normal life so that they can begin that process.
Where can people read these letters in full? You have them from 22 different women. Have you accomplished anything substantively that you can point to say these letters made a difference?
I believe they have, just because of how many more people know about these families now. It's important that all of us hold our government accountable and stand up against these new proposed regulations, and continue to pay attention to family detention. Many people stood up against the government during family separation, and it's important that we don't forget that there are still families in detention, and that detention is not a solution. People can read all of the letters at immigrationjustice.us. That's the Immigration Justice Campaign's website. If you click on the advocacy tab, there's a link that leads to all of the letters, and it tells you different ways that you can help, including signing a letter as part of our collaboration with Amnesty International, asking for the release of all of these families.
How did you get involved in this organization and become so passionate about it?
I had always been interested in human rights and social justice, and I was just horrified. In high school, most of what I had learned about had been in other countries, and I couldn't believe that the way that immigrants were treated was being done with our taxpayer dollars in our name and right here in our country. They did some internships related to immigration, and when I finished grad school, I knew that I wanted to be working in this full time. Working in Dilley has been just an amazing opportunity to be working directly with asylum-seeking families.
And what would you say to the Trump supporters who say, well, we're going to get overrun by immigrants coming from Central America? A lot of them may be criminals. That Trump, I think even tweeted, Middle Eastern terrorists are in this caravans.
The right to seek asylum is protected under international and federal law. It's always been a strong value in the United States to accept immigrants, especially those who have come seeking our help. These are mothers who are afraid that they and their children will be killed if they spend another day in their country. That is the American way to give people a chance. And so we aren't giving someone a free pass into the United States. We're just asking that they get their fair day in court, that they go before a judge.
Usually we like to ask people what your American dream would be.
Yeah, so my dream would be that these children that we've been working with every day can just have a normal childhood, where they can go to school, where they can come home to a house with their family, with their mother, be together with her, but also not be in a detained setting. I think that if people came to Dilley and met just a few of these families, they would realize that these are people that we need to help, often babies who are in a jail, that we as a country should be welcoming and protecting them.
Katy Murdza, very well said. You're the Advocacy Coordinator with the Dilley Pro Bono Project. Thank you for coming on. We pray for everybody in there that they are released immediately and that they get to live as normal a life as they can. Thank you for coming on, and great work down there.
Thank you very much, Brad.
All right. Terrible what's going on there, but she's doing an unbelievable job.
She really is.
All right, so a little housekeeping. Tomorrow night is our last show before the Thanksgiving holiday. So we'll be off on Friday as well as the following week. We will be back live on Monday. What day would that be?
The 26th, I believe.
November 26th. And then we're going to go straight through until December 15th or 14th. And then we're off for Christmas. So tomorrow, please make sure you tune in because it will be our last show for about 8 or 9 days.
That's
right.
right.
We'll be back after the Thanksgiving recess. In the meantime, before we go, I would be remiss to ask one question of you.
What?
What are the comments of the day?
We got a few today, Brad. We got a few.
Okay.
Got a few every day.
Yes. It's true. We got some creative, funny people. Our very first one is from First Lady Leah, who was feeling this weather. She said, "It's so cold out, I need the Brad Show to warm up." It was hot today, Lady Leah. You picked a good day. This second is from Cordella, a ride or die as always. Today is her husband's birthday, and he always watches with her.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
If we knew this earlier, we would have sang, but we don't sing at 7:30.
We don't sing at 7:30.
We sing around 5:30.
We'll have Jilly Bean come in here and sexy sing it to you.
Right.
Yeah. Afsal Afzal.
He's been hot with the comments.
He's been hot with the comments, and
Yeah.
today is no exception. He had a really good take on you making that going to Sex Island
What?
joke for that caller.
What?
He said, Brad, that's the beauty of the show. With serious cases, we get to light it up, to bring jokes and
That's right.
smiles for everyone, even through hardship.
That's right.
Laughter and smiles are the cure. Keep up the good work, Brad.
That's right. Thank you.
That's right.
It's just the caller didn't find it funny, so that was more.
Did the caller say something?
No, he just didn't even. He ignored every comment I made, other than help my brother.
Right. But so we bring
Okay,
levity.
but thank you,
We
Afzal.
bring levity.
Thank you.
We also have one from Lisa Bling Rose, who said, call Uncle Brad if you need someone to talk, the man of your dreams, and immigration questions.
Oh.
Denisha better watch out.
Yes.
I haven't seen Denisha in a couple
Right,
days.
yes. Wow. Wow.
What's up, thing?
Shaking the tape.
Boy, this is Hump Day, isn't
Bring
it?
out the penis
Is today Hump Day?
It sure is. We got one more to really close it out.
Okay.
Carol Anderson, the Tiger. It's absolutely a beautiful show tonight. I love it.
Aw, very nice, very nice. Didn't somebody also say I should run for president every day, right?
Absolutely. Every single day we have somebody who said that you should run for
I'm
president.
writing candidate.
Today it was Malquence Brown,
Malquence
who
Brown.
I don't think really watches the show every day. So
Right.
that's literally just every day somebody's like Bernstein 2020.
We should have that comment with me and the flag or something at the end, because every day there's a new person saying I should run for president. And the presidential comment of the day.
Right.
We need to really start this write-in campaign, Brad.
Yes. All right, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. So, Sam, as part of the production, we have to say this disclaimer at the end of the show. Do you mind reading it for me?
Okay, but you know, Brad, I have to do everything around here. It's bad enough I've got to remember everything that happened on the episode from the previous day.
Forget it. I'll do it. The proceeding was information only and not specific legal advice. Consult an attorney about your individual situation. Prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. To make an appointment with the Spar and Bernstein law firm located at 225 Broadway in New York City, call 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. Easy to remember, 1-800-LAW-LINK. That's 1-800-LAWLINK. Once again, make a call to 1-800-529-5465. And of course, link up with the law offices of Spar and Bernstein, located at 225 Broadway on the 5th floor. If I were you out there, make the call, make the link, make the connection, make it Spar and Bernstein. 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-529-5465. And now, conveniently located in Hartford, Connecticut on 1 Congress Street. Visit us in Connecticut or in New York at 225 Broadway. That's 1-800-529-5465. 1-800-LAW-LINK. 1-800-529-5465. What are you doing?